Blog Talk Radio.
Listening to Night Thoughts, the Cars podcast with Dave and Donna. I'm Dave, Mr. Steel Wool, one of your hosts, and joining us is Miss Sunshine and Rainbows, Donna. How you doing, Donna? And we don't hear Donna, which means she's still having microphone problems, which means she's probably going into a hissy fit at this moment. And I'll just wait for her to call in on the phone. Poor Donna. Oh, it's so sad. She even pre-checked it and everything. Well, Donna, if you can hear me, I can't hear you. That's all I can say. So, hey, I'll just tell everybody you might notice some background noise on my end. And that's because windows are open. You know, remember I'm podcasting here from the granddaughter's bedroom, and last time, you know, I closed up all the windows and I kind of sweat my ass off last time. And you know what? I'm not going to spontaneously combust for you people. So walls are open. Hey, you might have heard that car just go by. It's all part of the whole package that we're doing here. So while I wait for Donna, let me just go through and get through the news. First off, you know, if you want to call
David.
in. Why, Donna, so nice of you to join us.
I am so fried right now. Yes, I am sunshine and rainbows, but I'll tell you, you've never seen storm clouds like I can conjure up. Let me tell you, I'm so mad right now.
Great. 2 weeks in a row of pissy sunshine and rainbows.
Oh, well, then someone needs to call in and cheer me up, because I'm telling you, this mic situation, I'm going to go nuts. I'm going to go nuts.
Hey, you were connected. You were connected.
Yes.
You were off mute, and
I hope.
I don't know if you could hear me.
Yes, I could hear you.
I certainly couldn't hear you. So,
and of course, at first I thought you were just teasing me, because you're like, and because I was like, Dave, can you hear me? And you're like, and we don't hear Donna. And I was like, oh, come on, you're just kidding. You're not being serious.
Didn't.
That's why it took me such a long time to get the phone out and call you, because I thought he's just giving me a hard time.
Yeah, nobody takes him seriously. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So I'm glad you're here, though.
Thanks. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah.
I missed everything you said up to this point. So
great. I was just getting ready to do the news, but you know what? Here's something else I wanted to bring up to you, Donna. That if you think about it, Night Thoughts, the pars. Crap. See, before I even get to that, a little disclaimer. You realize, people, that, you know, Donna is I think she's pretty much the same. But, you know, I'm off summer now. And so, you know, and we're podcasting at night, and I've got a whole day's worth of, you know, whatever inside my head. And so, you know, I'm not really worth much at this point. So, you know, you can expect me to screw up a lot. Anyway, what I was going to say was, if you think about it, our podcast, we're on episode 10, so it's kind of a milestone. And that means we have to be the longest running podcast about the cars. We have to be. This has to be a world record. And the other thing, I'm pretty sure that we're number one among all cars podcasts.
Yes, we did it.
We're on top, baby. That's all there is to
man.
it. Oh, yeah.
King of the mountain.
And with that, I would like to give a little shout out to my buddy Eddie G. And I would tell you Eddie's last name, but I could never figure out how to pronounce Eddie's last name anyway. So we just call him Eddie G, the Troubleizer, going all the way back to the Frozen Fire email list days. And it was his podcast. He's done a couple of them on Blog Talk. The last one being when the Move Like This was released. So I'm going to give a little shout out to him, a little nod, because he is our inspiration.
Yes.
If it wasn't for Eddie G, we would not be the #1 longest running podcast about the cause. We owe him our fame.
But you're not acting like you're thinking all the little people, right? I mean, Eddie G's big stuff.
Eddie G is big stuff. I'd love to talk to Eddie again. Yeah.
Call us, Eddie. Call.
Yeah, call us, Eddie. And speaking of calls, you can call us at 646-668-8583. Or if you want to be fancy about it, 646.
Oh, no.
646-O-NUT-LUD. 646-O-NUT-LUD.
Yeah.
So give us a call. Hey, we had 2 calls last week. We'd like to have 3 this week.
Ooh, yeah, that'd be nice.
Just one more.
That's all we need.
Yeah. So
it's like a telethon. We just need one more call, people. Push us out. We make like a little thermometer with the number of calls each week. Just come on, you got to get us up over the top.
We should do that. Hey, you can also email us, nightthoughtspodcast@gmail.com.
Yes.
Get a hold of us that way.
Do that.
Another bit of the news. Last week I talked about podcast shirts. You can get your podcast shirts if you want one. And I'll even go so far as say there's more than just podcast shirts up there now.
Yeah.
That's all I'm gonna say.
I ordered 2 shirts off of that, off TeePublic. I'm pretty excited. I'm not going to say what they are, but I'll post pictures when I get them. Yeah. I'm excited.
I think what I will do, the address is teepublic.com, T spelled T-E-E, /user/night thoughts. But I think what I will do is I will post the link on the FANORAMA Facebook page.
Nice.
So if people want to connect with that.
Yes.
Oh, and another thing.
Are you going to mention that we have a new logo?
We do have a new logo made by my buddy Lumberjack Nick, who's an awesome guy.
Nice.
And we thank him very, very much for that logo. I love it.
Yes, we do.
So here's my story for today, Donna. I get home, and I've got this package waiting for me.
Okay.
From Dante Tomaselli.
No way!
Right? And I'll be honest, I was a little scared to open it.
Okay, wait, Dave, wait. Is this a serious story, or are you tricking me?
No. See, nobody takes me seriously. It's a serious story.
I know, so that's why I have to know right now. Are you tricking me?
No, I'm not tricking you.
You really got a package from Dante?
Yeah. And
awesome.
he was nice enough to send me a copy of his Halloween music,
nice.
Scary stuff. And I can't remember, he sent me a DVD of one of his movies. Now, here's the thing that Dante doesn't know about me, is that his genre, not of music, but his genre of movies and so forth, scares the living shit out of me.
Yeah.
so I got to call. It's like, man, I got to watch this movie.
Right, it's Dante.
Yeah. But I don't do. I mean, I could do scary stuff, ghosts or whatever. I don't do demons, man. I don't do the demonic. It just doesn't set well with me. It might go back to me when I was a kid, getting this crap scared out of me by The Omen, that little evil shit of a kid. It might go back to that. I don't know. I just don't do that. Anyway, I wanted to thank Dante for sending that. It was a very nice surprise.
Yeah, that's
awesome.
Pretty great.
Yep. Sure enough.
Well, good. Well, here's something I have that's kind of a leftover that I keep meaning to ask you this. When we did our favorites episode, one thing we should have had on our list was what our favorite Greg Hawk's synthesizer riff is. And then I meant to mention it last week when I was saying that Greg kind of emerged as the hero for me in the whole progression of the Cars albums. And I meant to ask you at that point, what was your favorite Greg riff? And I totally forgot. And so I wrote it down and circled it and put big stars around it. We need to give Greg some love. What's your favorite Greg synth riff?
I would say my favorite Greg synth riff also goes with my favorite song off of Panorama, which is Running to You.
Ooh, nice.
And this kind of has a special place in my heart, too, because I told you that, I was a Casio keyboard guy. And and I actually used to play along the lead synth parts in my Cars albums. So that was one that I really like to play, yeah.
Nice.
And when I was in community college, I needed a class. And I can't remember what the stipulation of it all. I just knew I needed to take some kind of I can't think of the word, humanities or whatever. But I ended up taking piano, beginning piano 1. Okay.
Nice.
And I could never read music. I don't know. It was over my head. I could never get to it. So what I would do is I would make sure and listen really well to the teacher when the teacher played it, and then I would just play by ear. And then, of course, I'd end up jazzing it up. And it was one of those deals where it was like a piano lab where you'd have this class in. And in order to take the tests, you'd have to play, and the teacher would listen in to each person. Well, I would jazz everything up. I would Greg Hawkes everything, like put a little extra. And I think I got a C in that class. It's a throwaway class, and I got a C. But
that's funny. Well, can I tell you my little music story since you brought that up? It's really embarrassing. I took band in, I think it was, so Mr. Rogers' class, so it would have been the 6th grade. And I just wanted to be in band so bad. And so I decided to take the flute, because I could handle the flute, and we could afford a flute. And so I could not read music either. I have no ear for music. I'm tone deaf. I'm like the farthest from musically talented as anybody could ever get. And so, but I'm competitive. And so they've had this, like the test where you determine who's in first chair and who's in second chair and whatever.
Yeah.
I really wanted to be first chair because that was what, that was the competition. I really wanted to be in first chair. So I practiced that piece. And it was kind of the same where I had to sort of listen. I couldn't really understand the notes, but it was a lot of work for me. And so I just worked my hiney out and practiced that piece. And I played it so great. And so I got to be first chair. But I really had no talent, no ability to play. And so it did not take long for the band teacher to realize that he had made a grave mistake in putting me in the front of the flutes. And I think we're supposed to learn these other songs, which, of course, I could not learn. And I hated it, so I gave up fairly quickly. And so when we went to play the first concert, I didn't even blow air into that mouthpiece. I just totally did the whole air flute. Like, I'm sure I looked like I was playing a piccolo in the Revolutionary War. Just faked my way through the whole thing. And I dropped out of band after that. Yeah. I was such a failure. I have no musical.
Could have been great.
Oh, my gosh.
Wow.
Could have been. Yeah. I feel just so pathetic. Oh, goodness sakes. So, yes. So,
flute
I appreciate
now mic problems. So, Hey.
You what?
Flute problems, now mic problems.
Yes. Goes from one thing to the next. Yeah. Well, let me say really quick, my favorite Greg synth riff is, I have 2, of course, because I can't make decisions. So my favorite, the one I think is the most romantic and wonderful is in It's All I Can Do, when he plays that building, that beautiful, beautiful part behind Ben's vocals and that. But my other, I think like my all-time favorite is in Dangerous Type, after the guitar solo when it moves into Rick singing and he just that whole piece that he plays through the whole song is so great, and then just combined with coming off the solo and into Rick's vocals, that's got to be one of my favorite things to listen to in the cars is that little segment right there. It's awesome. So I'm done.
Hopefully Greg is listening, and he's getting the love.
Hey, Greg.
Yeah.
I hope so. Well, he's on tour with Todd Rundgren or whatever. I'm sure he's tuning in during his pre-show.
He was close to me.
Period.
He probably came right through my town. He was in Chicago.
Yeah.
He was in St. Louis. He had to come through my neck of the woods if he was on the road driving. But
he didn't stop and say hi?
Didn't stop and say hi.
That's really weird. Because he was also in my neck of the woods this weekend. He played in Tulalip, which is near Marysville, Washington, which is probably 6 or 7 hours from me. And I was going to go see him, but he called and, he understood that the distance was too far, and we had a good talk. Because Greg and I, because we're really close friends. Have I told you that before? We've been friends for years. Yeah. Years. Yeah. So you believe me, don't you?
Oh, I totally do, because it's a great segue into the
I was hoping you recognized
episode 10.
Yes.
Which is
what is the title?
Batshit Crazy. Batshit Crazy. And so tonight we're discussing how shall I put it? We're discussing the we're discussing people, how shall we say, they're colorful, people who are imaginative, maybe a little sort of aggressive,
somewhat twisted.
In a nutshell, I think these are the people that make you go,
Oh, nice.
That's what I think. Yes. And I know a lot of people who hate drama.
Yes.
I guarantee that probably 99% of the drama in the Fanorama is, batshit crazy is involved somehow.
Yes, I totally agree.
Somehow involved. And honestly, on the topic of just batshit crazy, I really think that a majority of the batshit crazy is on Facebook, because Facebook just kind of is what it is. Facebook is kind of like social media Jerry Springer. Facebook's kind of like it's the Walmart of social media. There you go. It's
there you go.
Social media. Doesn't matter where you are, what part of the country. You go into Walmart, you're going to see some strange folks. And that's kind of like what Facebook is to me. So,
yes.
So before we get started, I just like to have a little disclaimer. One,
I have one too, so go ahead.
Okay. One, we're not going to use names. Two, before people get all judgmental on me, I don't rule myself out of being batshit crazy. Okay? So there you go. Donna, what's your disclaimer?
Okay. Well, my disclaimer is similar in that, I'm Miss Sunshine and Rainbows, and I really do want everybody to enjoy their fandom and whatever method they choose, as long as they're not hurting anybody else, just go for it. I don't care. So I kind of see my job as, because I'm not exactly positive all of what Mr. Steel Wool is going to say, so I'm just kind of looking out to see if I need to kind of, smooth down some edges, if I need to kind of, put some cushion in there anywhere. I'm going to kind of be watching out for that.
Well, one, we're not using names. We're just saying this guy or this gal or whatever. And the way I look at it, if somebody thinks that it's that we're talking about them, they're batshit crazy. That's all I can say.
If you think it's you, it just might be.
Exactly. So there we go. So, Donna, I've kind of broken this down into different categories, and we'll just kind of go through the categories. And if I need to explain some of the things we've talked about before on other podcasts, maybe we can get a little bit more into it. But So here we go. With episode 10, batshit crazy. And first category is the power people.
Yes.
The power people. What does that mean? If I could describe power people, I would say people who perceive themselves as a little more important than they are.
Okay. Just a little?
Yeah. They see themselves as a lot more important. So, and I think these are people who think they have, tremendous value in the Fanorama for one reason or another. And
right.
I've always, it's always been a pet peeve of mine. And this is within the Cars fandom, within Star Wars fandom. I hear this a lot when somebody says, only a true fan will, know Greg's shirt size or, something like that. It's like, come on, a fan is a fan is a fan.
Right.
I don't think the fact that we do a podcast makes us any better of a fan than anyone else.
Exactly.
But these are people who feel like they've got an edge up, and maybe their behavior kind of reflects that. So, I know many people in the Fanorama who have these stories about, meeting band members, or they have, pictures that have never been shared, or they're in the music business and nobody really knows it, or they just basically, these people hang back and just let the Fanorama flow. They never make a big deal about it. And, and if they do say something, it's, usually very polite or, tongue-in-cheek or whatever. It's kind of like when Dave Robinson, makes a comment every once in a while, you'll see it. He makes a snide comment like, that wasn't 1983, that was 1987, or something. He'll correct somebody. Now there's a perfect example right there of a guy who just kind of goes with it. So, one person that I'm thinking of, and I won't say their name, very generous with his talents. He's got inside connections. He's got info. Donna doesn't even know who I'm talking about.
I know. I'm trying to figure it out.
And he's been sitting on it for years. And I've never seen this person throw their weight around once. Okay? Not once. And I'm sure you know people like that too, Donna, who just kind of sit back on stuff and don't make a big deal about it. On the other hand, you have people who do.
Right.
And it's, I don't even know what to say other than it isn't a situation where, just because, you're in the music business, or just because you're a third cousin to Rick Ocasek, or just because you have pictures of David Robinson when he was in high school or whatever, that gives you any more pull or power than anyone else.
Right.
The power people, I just don't even want to give them that much time. Quite honest. And talking about them, we're giving them power. It's like an evil entity.
Kind of. I mean, one of the things I thought of was that I remember when you said about people who are like, if you were a true fan or true fans would, I do remember someone kind of making a comment about putting people down because they had not been fans for very long. And, just that comparison of, I've liked the Cars since 1978, and so therefore I am somehow some sort of expert. That kind of attitude really bothers me, especially when they come across in such a way that makes the newbie feel like, oh, well, I guess I have, I guess I don't have a right to like the Cars then, or I guess I'm never going to, I don't know. it makes you feel bad. Like, I'm sorry, I didn't like him 30 years ago. I can't stand that kind of stuff. If you really are a fan, then help other people know more information. Help them, guide them to the cool interviews, guide them to the demos, the rare tracks, the unreleased. Don't sit there and act like, well, there is another version of Night Spots out there, If you had been in the Fanorama long enough, you would have known that. It's like, okay, sorry, I hadn't heard it before.
That was me. I apologize for that. Yeah. I made that comment. I'm sorry. Well,
no, it wasn't you.
But Donna, our episode is titled "Batshit Crazy." So there's power people, and then there's batshit crazy power people, which is and I'll go back to once again our friend the Big Salad.
Oh, yes.
And we've talked about Mr. Big Salad before. Just to give everybody background, Mr. Big Salad runs one of the pages that has like 48K followers, which destroys me. I'll admit it. It destroys me.
I know.
He has that many followers, and a lot of it's because people, before the car's official page started up, they thought that was the official page.
Right.
But Mr. Big Salad, has a connection with the band through family, and I think to make a long story short, he probably the most outrageous thing that he's done to me personally is he got me blocked by one of the band members, and and I know, Donna, that the band member in question has no clue who in the hell I am. He has no clue who I am. And it was just a matter of the fact that I had problems with Mr. Big Salad that he, fed it into his family. Hey, this guy, Mr. Steel Wool, he's bad news. You better block him. Those kind of deals. And the funny thing about it is that after I was blocked by this band member used one of my graphics on his personal page. So,
yes, that is. I was totally going to bring that up. Yes.
It's like, okay, well, isn't that great?
Right. I mean, it's just so obvious. You have no clue who he had no clue who he was blocking. Yeah. And I just.
And the other thing is that being on Twitter. This band member's on Twitter too. He has no problem with me on Twitter. He likes my stuff. He's retweeted my stuff. So it is what it is. But the definition of batshit crazy with this guy, he blocks me because I told him I want nothing to do with his page. That everybody has free reign on my graphics and stuff that I do. They can take it, they can use it, whatever, except him. I specifically told him, except you. You cannot use anything. I want nothing to do with your page. Well, then he continues to use stuff, and that's where my batshit crazy came out. Okay, so I wasn't going to take that line down. But so the definition of batshit crazy with this guy is he blocks me, he gets me blocked by a band member. Then he emails me and tells me to never contact him again and threatens legal action. All right? The guy threatens me with legal action. Now, here's the batshit crazy part. The next day, he emails me to ask me a basic question. Just a basic question. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. This guy just threatened legal action. He's blocked me, whatever. And now he's calling to ask me, hey, what year did the cars, blah, 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 blah. I'm like,
such a disconnect.
Be freaking kidding me. That's batshit crazy. That is batshit crazy. So,
yes. Particularly because the reason that he blocked you had to do with the fact that he was being offensive and rude and completely Big Salad.
Big Salad guy. He's Big Salad guy.
He was being Big Salad, so then he blocks you because he's being a jerk, and then he still uses your stuff and contacts you afterwards. Like, it's so absurd. It's so absurd.
He is batshit crazy. I mean, it goes with it. In all seriousness, I think there's something not right about him. There's just not. Something's not right about him. But there's my batshit crazy power person. The other one I want to bring up is that there was a person who was in the music business, I believe, and excuse me, and he made a comment that was not very cool. And this is not the first person I've seen make a bad comment.
Okay.
Another notable one was somebody who's a power person who they had a picture of somebody's sister, and they had a cat sitting on their lap, cat sitting on their lap, and he made some comment about petting the cat.
Okay.
You can see where I'm going with this.
That's good. Go ahead.
Yeah, they're good. So, but anyway, so this guy, makes a comment on our page, and I don't play well with that kind of stuff. I just don't. And it doesn't have to do with your background and what you've experienced, but just human decency, being a gentleman, that kind of thing. Being a gentleman, says the guy who says fuck a lot.
Well, you don't say it at people. No, you don't say it at me anyway.
You got to be respectful, in that sense. And, my initial reaction was to go ballistic. I mean, right. The testosterone was flowing. But, what I did was I sent a very polite message, private message. I didn't call the person out in public, and saying, hey, I saw your comment. I got rid of it. That's not cool. And just want to let you know, if you do something like that again, you're going to be gone. So where the batshit crazy power person comes in is that person just can't let it go. They can't let it go. I mean, I was private. I was polite. But then all of a sudden I get, what I said was a joke or out of fun, and it certainly isn't as bad as cussing. And at that point I was like, game fucking on. Do not compare my mouth to your, sexual innuendo comment. So, we kind of went back and forth, and here's the thing, here's where the power thing comes in. He throws at me how much he contributes to our page. Big mistake. Big mistake on that one. And so, and then I was just like, you just need to drop it, whatever. But I said, you know what? It wasn't your comment now that got you blocked. It is your bullshit you're trying to feed me now to justify your rude comment is where I went with it. So then, and the reason why I bring this story up is because this is what I want to say to you, Donna, for the first time. And to listeners. This guy, being a power guy, he's got to search for anything to make himself feel justified. So what he does is he sends me a message that highlights one of our podcast intros. And on there was the podcast where you'd come back from camp. Okay. And then I don't even know if you even ever saw this, Donna, but and it's kind of funny that you brought up your story about being in the band earlier, because I just about busted out laughing. But in on that, it says, hey, Donna's back from camp, blah, blah, blah. And then I have in quotes, this one time at band camp. Okay. And I don't know if you know what that's from. It's from American Pie. You ever seen American Pie?
No.
Oh, well, there you go. So you probably wouldn't have gotten it anyway. So he throws this back at me saying, okay, so you're getting all over me for making this, blah, blah, blah. What does this mean? Now, the first thing is that he's throwing off his, pecking order in the FANORAMA. Okay, so he's throwing his weight around, blah, blah, blah. So then he comes back at me with my use of the band camp thing as a tagline in our podcast. So, the first thing that I'm thinking is, hey, this isn't about me. This is about you. But, since he threw it out there, I felt the need to explain myself. The band camp line there from American Pie. There's I can't remember the actress's name, but she's very kind of geeky and sweet and a little bit, and she's a band person. And the line in the movie that he thinks it's famous for, that he thinks I was alluding to, was, this one time at band camp, I put my flute up my blank.
Oh, okay? My goodness.
She says this in the movie. Well, when I wrote that obviously was not in my head. I mean, I wouldn't write that about you, Donna. What he doesn't understand, though, is that line, well, this one time at band camp, it's the use of that phrase is to refer to someone who drones on and on about something. Okay, so, and that's what this girl does in the movie. It's like, well, this one time at band camp, we got brownies and ice cream and we ate, and we were so full, I mean, just stupid stories like that. So that phrase, this one time at band camp, is used in conversation to denote somebody who gets hung up on one thing, and they
go on and on about it.
They pull stories and go on and on just for the sake of something to say. And of course, that's not to say that is you, that you don't drone on.
I know, I'm all out, Dave.
It was a joke based on, Donna was at camp. I bet she's going to have a lot of camp stories to tell us.
Right,
that's why I put it there. So, if by chance that did offend people, because it, like I said, that wasn't in my mind when I put that on there, I sincerely apologize. But my use of it was just the use of, to refer to somebody who's going to drone on and on about their camp experience, and that's why I used it. So,
well, it's funny, having never seen that movie, I had no idea. I mean, I just thought it was just a funny, just a funny thing. I don't know. I didn't associate it with anything, and so I kind of cringe a little bit when you say what you thought, what he thought you were referring to. That would be offensive to me if I knew that's what. Yeah, and I would have been offended.
That's what I said back to him was, it's a parody. It's a parody of a saying that you obviously aren't familiar with, but it was put there as a parody of what I thought Donna would be doing on the podcast, which would be, endless tales of what happened when she was away in camp.
Right.
Donna. Ooh,
yes, exactly.
That kind of stuff. So anyway.
Yeah.
Enough with that guy. He's gone. He's on my list.
Yeah. Wow. I feel kind of yucky now.
I'm sorry.
Well, that's okay. I'm not. I mean, I'm a grown woman, and I'm not. But I'm just not all. I've never seen that movie. There's things I just kind of steer clear of, and I don't know. So yeah, let's move on.
I understand. Yeah. All right. So our next category: people pretending to be who they are not. Donna.
Yeah,
how do I know? How do I know? How do I know that you're just not like a 45-year-old guy with a voice like Wayne Newton? I don't. Sing Dante for me, would you please?
Oh my gosh, Dave. You're right though. I mean, well, as you know, there were some concerns when you and I started being friends about, you being some kind of 2,000-mile stalker serial killer.
Oh, really? Oh, from your hubby?
Yeah.
Yeah, bless his heart. Hey, and what did I say when you brought that up? What did I say?
I don't know. I don't remember.
You remember? I said, good for him. Good for him.
Yes.
Hey, Donna, guess what?
You did appreciate that.
We have a call.
Do we really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And by the way, if it's one of the power people, I'm cutting them the hell off. Just so you know.
Right off.
All right.
Okay.
Here we go. Let's do a call before we get to the people pretending who they're not to be.
Okay.
Hello. Hello again.
Hey, you're on Night Thoughts. What are your night thoughts? 715.
Am I live?
You are live. Who are we speaking
Very
with?
interesting. This is Kurt.
Kurt
Gaber?
Yeah.
Hey!
Awesome.
How's it going?
It's going great, Kurt. Thank you for calling in.
So much better now that you're on the line.
Yeah. Well, it's a interesting little call because when I called in on the line and I kind of just got in here a few minutes ago and I could hear you live. So I could hear what you're saying for a while. And I was kind of like, is this part of how this works, to actually listen to the podcast?
Yeah.
And apparently it is. So then all of a sudden they said, okay, you're the caller, so I'm on.
Yay.
How you guys doing?
Doing great.
You were doing
Kurt,
great.
You got this Wisconsin vibe about you. Why is that?
Well, you would know. You're just south of me, so it's kind of the same feel, you know?
Yeah. Gotcha, man. Gotcha.
So I actually didn't listen at all at the podcast. I was just outside and happened to come in, looked at my phone. I saw that little yellow ad about call-ins. I'm like, yeah, I should try that. I looked at the time, it was perfect. So I just got in on the part about the power guy. It was interesting. Right away, I'll be careful what I say, but I thought of two people that were in mind, but I got through on part of the conversation, but not all of it. So maybe we don't want to revisit it, but it was interesting to hear that. So
I think we're probably talking about the same power guy, Kurt.
Well, it could be, but anyway, we'll just move right past that and get into something a little cheerier. I've got some kind of neat stuff here in front of me. I thought, I got to call in and maybe just give a little neat information here. So what I'll do is, I was able to get some pretty nice information from Dave Tedeschi, obviously associated with Ben Orr for years. And I've been hanging on to this stuff since 2007, and I've got a lot of neat paperwork that he sent to me. And what I would do is just be careful about what I read, but just some neat tidbits of stuff that I can share that's not a problem to do. And one of the things is it's just some neat stuff that they have in their paperwork, when they're doing their shows. So right off the bat, just this one, it says Ben Orr backline requirements. So he's just got a little list, Dave does, of what they want, for the show. And it's just neat to think of what they've got for a listing, And right here it's, calling for 2 Marshall half stacks or a PV 5150, for a bass.
I have no idea what that is.
Yeah, just big amps,
Oh,
bass,
okay, amps.
MPEG, SVT rig, or Mesa 400 or Trace Elliott, right down to the brand name of what they want, And then for a drum kit, DW or a Yamaha recording or compatible. And whatever a DW is, I don't know. Not in the music business. But, 22-inch kick, 10 and 12-inch rack of toms, 16-inch floor tom, 4 cymbal stands, 4 guitar stands, 1 wireless rig for guitar. And then, it's just so neat to think that this is actually what these performers were, requiring. And it's obviously one of our cars here, kind of cool.
Yeah.
And then if I flip to another page, this one, Dave Curry, when Ben came down to Illinois, what city was that you went to see him at?
In 2 of them. He was in Quincy in 87. Geez, Dave, you're a decade off.
97?
In 97, and then he came into my hometown, Springfield, in 98.
Okay. You did the Springfield show then?
I did both of them, yeah.
You did both, okay. Because one of them is actually about Quincy. So it's awesome. Actually, if you want me to take the time to read this a little bit or no?
Sure, go for it.
I don't want to hog the airtime. Okay, hang on. Just got to get to the right page here, because it actually I thought that's maybe one of the ones that you had gone to, So
I want to know
here it is, right here.
Had any candy listed? Does he want some Twizzlers?
Well, I've actually got another sheet for that. I do.
Oh, awesome!
But that's what this reads. This is from July 28th, 1997. And then, again, I'll be a little careful on some of the name stuff, but dear David, thanks for giving our company the opportunity to produce a Ben Orr performance. Enclosed, you will find an advance sheet and a proposed day of schedule for your August 9th performance in Quincy, Illinois. Due to the number of bands, I'm requesting that Ben Orr and Starship share the same backline gear, with the exception of some keyboard differences. This should help to keep us on time and cut way down on set changes. Please call such and such at such and such to work out these arrangements to your and Starship's production folks' satisfaction. And then just one more little paragraph says, also, if possible, please fax our office on August 7th with any guest list you may have for the show so we can have will call ready at doors open. Any last-minute additions can be accommodated the day of. And then it finally says merchandise is 70-30 venue sells, 70-25 artist sells, so it must be like a percentage in what they're doing. Please have your merchandiser contact our office in advance to coordinate his arrival. If there's anything else you need, please don't hesitate to call me. Thanks, and then BG. So it's just so neat to have these real items that were in the business end of what he was doing, you know.
Yeah, wow.
And I just thought it'd be kind of neat to share some of that and you know, edit it carefully so there's not too many names in there. But I don't want to go to the grave with this stuff without sharing a little bit of it, because I think it's so interesting, just like all the fans like to share things. So I thought if I could grab a tidbit here and there, it'd be neat to do.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, Kurt, that's so great. Because we as fans, we just gobble that stuff up. And research nerds and music nerds I'm the research nerd, not the music nerd, so I don't understand all those initials and numbers about instruments, but
sure.
There are people that are,
Fan
you know.
would, though, Donna. A real fan.
A true fan, yeah.
A true fan.
No, I think that's so great, Kurt. I thank you so much for sharing that.
Yeah, no problem at all.
Do you have the page where he says what he wants for snacks?
I actually do. Yeah, it's
because that I can understand. I don't understand amplifiers, but I understand snacks.
Yeah.
Twizzlers, I'm telling you, Twizzlers.
This is for a different date and a different kind of contract, but it's got dressing room catering. Here's the list: 3 gallons of spring water in sealed containers, 2 large bottles of Gatorade, assorted flavors, 3 quarts of fruit juice, 1 each of orange, cranberry, grapefruit. Here's a good one: 1 case Coors Light or Miller Lite Ice. That's kind of neat, you know. By the way, I have a Miller Lite Ice neon sign in my garage. That's kind of a rare thing, because Miller Lite Ice I don't think was produced that long. Another good one: 1/5 of Absolute, or, and I don't know how to say this word, Stolichnaya vodka. I'm not sure what that is.
I'm Russian.
1/5 Jack Daniels. 1 case of classic Coke. That's dating ourselves, huh?
Yeah.
One 12-pack caffeine diet-free Coke. 1 6-pack of Pepsi. 1 6-pack of Mountain Dew, cans only. 1 quart of milk. And then this is about halfway. Deli tray with assorted meats and cheeses. No pressed meats, in parentheses. Loaf of wheat bread, all condiments, utensils, paper towels, and napkins. 1 small fruit tray. 1 vegetable platter. And then now we must be getting into some gear for the band. It says 10 9-volt batteries and an 8-pack of AA Duracells. And right in parentheses, not Energizer. I kicked out of that. So, sorry, Energizer. 15 clean hand-sized towels for stage use. Bar towels are unacceptable. Large tray of clean ice. 1 pot of hot coffee, sugar, cups, not styrofoam,
they have to
and
say
condiments.
It has to be clean.
Yeah.
Consistently clean ice.
Yeah. One box of Kleenex and 1 pot of hot water in tea bags. So all of the above should be completed 1 hour before or band showtime. So neat stuff, huh?
Well,
very neat.
Go ahead, Don.
I was going to say, I'm sure we're thinking the same thing. How did these guys not spend all night going to the bathroom? They got juices and liquids up the yin-yang. I mean, these guys are thirsty.
Yeah.
I was going to say with those, they got those towels that they want, not bar towels, but towels in the hot water. I'm thinking they were like preparing for a possible birth.
Yeah.
Did they ask for a sterilized knife? Was that on the list anywhere?
Yeah.
And cut the cord?
Benjamin Orr birthed my son.
At the Quincy show.
Well, hey, lastly, so I don't wear out my welcome, but to not keep it too long, is I'm actually heading through Idaho shortly.
Hey,
so
really?
You live in Idaho, don't you?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, maybe on a private message, so there's nothing given, live. I'm actually going out there on a hunting trip. Sorry if I offend anybody, but I'm not politically correct. I'm going hunting, so
Bring your guns.
That'll go off great with Donna's husband. There's some guy from Wisconsin with a gun coming by.
No, it's not a gun. It's bow and arrow. So.
Oh, that's even better.
Nice.
Yeah, we're going elk hunting. So anyway, I'll just keep it short. So I'm not exactly sure where we're going yet, but I'll have to get in touch with you through Facebook or something and give you a shout. So.
Yes, please message me, Kurt, because I'd love to just get a chance to shake hands and say hey.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Cool. You never know.
If we can work it out. Yeah, great.
Okay. Well, my hunting buddy.
Huge... Go ahead.
No, I said my hunting buddy. He's all business.
Is he?
Yeah. Well, I don't know if he'd want to stop off for cars-related items, but you never know. I might be able to twist his arm. So.
Well, Idaho's a pretty huge state, so I suppose there's a possibility that you might be too far away from me, but message me like you said, and if we can work it out, that would be great. I would love it.
Yeah. Sure. You having any issues with fires out there or no?
We've got a lot of fires going on right now. In fact, the air quality is so poor right now. It's so thick that, if I told you what we could see and couldn't see, it wouldn't matter to you, but it's thick.
Right.
It's bad.
Yeah, we even got some haze here in Wisconsin a couple of days ago from all those fires blowing east. So, well, I tell you what, it was. I hear Darth Vader. It was super nice to talk to you guys both. I really love what you're doing on this. I don't follow everyone every time, but I listen in when I can, and it's really a pleasure to hear the chatter back and forth between what you guys have going on. So keep up the good work.
Thanks Kurt. So much, Kurt.
Okay, we'll talk to you soon.
Man. All right, thanks.
See you later. Yep, bye.
Bye.
All right.
Love it. It makes me so happy.
And you know what's funny is when I first heard Kurt's voice, he's like, "It's Kurt," and I'm thinking, "No, you're not," because you never imagine what a person's voice is like. I've talked to Kurt, lots and lots of times, messaging, but then when you hear their voice, like, no, this can't be you.
Oh my gosh, that was so great.
Yeah, awesome.
My cheeks hurt. I'm smiling so big right now because it's so fun to talk to friends, and because you feel like friends. You just know you're friends, and so it's so great and then just that bonus of having him share that rider information or how fun and just how truly opposite of the people that we were just talking about. Here's Kurt going, I have stuff to share, just so great.
Yep, it's like on cue, boom. But you know what's funny is he's talking about all the that writer was from a different show about all the food and stuff like that. But when I went backstage at the Quincy show, John Kalishis, is that how you pronounce his last name? Kalishis?
Kalishis, yeah, I think.
Kalishis. Yeah, John Kalishis basically said, I met him before I met Benjamin, and he said, "Hey, you want anything to eat?" And he motioned me over to the big ass table with all the stuff, and I was like, "No, I didn't want to, overstep my boundries or whatever like that."
Right.
But, man, I could have checked it out. Everything Kurt was just talking about.
I know. Sounded pretty great.
It's like Mountain Dew, cans only.
Cans only.
Cans only.
Pack of Pepsi. Yeah.
And clean ice. Don't give me. I don't want any more of that dirty shit in ice.
Yeah. Keep your filthy ice.
Ice.
That's right. Keep your filthy ice to yourself. Give me the good stuff.
Gotta be clean. No bar towels.
No Energizer batteries.
No Energizer batteries.
I love it.
Do you know who I am?
Love it.
I'm Benjamin Orr. No Energizer fucking batteries. There you go.
That's right. Oh man, that's pretty great.
Yeah, that's a scoop. That makes us better fans, Donna, than a lot of people because we know that the Ben Orr band did not like Energizer batteries.
Yeah, and we're not going to tell anyone. We're just going to withhold it. We're going to say we have information about Benjamin's battery preferences, and we're not going to share them with you.
Yeah.
So go get your own big salad.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
That is
it. We're so powerful.
We are. Well, with having the longest running and #1 podcast of the cars, we have power, Donna.
Yes, we have status and power.
Yep. King Kong ain't got nothing on us. That's how powerful we are. Right. So,
oh, what a treat.
and, so back to our little categories here. We have the people pretending to be who they are not. And
yes.
That's when I noticed Kurt, if that's your real name, Kurt, had called. And but you know, this problem with people pretending to be who they're not, I mean, this is a problem all over social media. But I know we've had a couple of people who've had, you know, second accounts where they're pretending to be somebody else for whatever reason.
Right. And I think there's a distinction to be made between, so for example, my account is Donna Sweet Purple June, and it's been, I mean, that's, I made that to be so I could be in the cars world and separate it from my North Idaho Donna life, you know, who else I am. And so I think there's a difference between, you know, I'm not pretending to be someone I'm not. I'm just not letting you know who I entirely am by having this other profile, versus people starting another profile and then trying to have a whole new persona, you know, or say even like a female having an account where they choose a male gender and present themselves as someone totally different than who they really are.
As in the music business or whatever. Yeah.
My Donna Sweet Purple June account is me. I'm Donna, and I don't try to pretend anybody else that I'm not. And if you were actually friends with me as Sweet Purple June and friends with me as my regular account, which you are, Dave, you know I'm not any different than that person, except, you know.
Wait.
I don't know.
Wait. The Donna I know from Idaho and Donna Sweet Purple June, you're the same person?
One and the same.
It's like Clark Kent and Superman.
See, exactly.
Wow.
I have my alternate, but it's not because I'm not who I am. It's because I'm a superhero.
Yeah,
so.
Exactly. But you're exactly right on the distinction of this. You've got your Cars fan account, and then you've got your personal account. And I think I probably have maybe 5 people who are in the Fanorama that are friends of mine on Facebook. And you know, you have to make that distinction there because, you know, one, you don't accept every friend request. You know, I don't want to accept a friend request from somebody on my personal page because of this podcast or anything. I mean, this is my family, and there's only, you know, certain people I let into that world. And
exactly.
So, you know, for you people out in the Fanorama, if you want to follow me on Twitter. The Facebook aspect of it, I mean, that's my family, you know, and it's going to be boring to you anyway, because all I'm doing is posting pictures of my granddaughters and commenting on pictures of my granddaughters. It's all granddaughters, you know. It's
a real snooze.
So, but you know,
I'm just kidding.
We're talking about, I chose to ignore. We're talking about people who literally, like, you know, it's John Doe, and then John Doe makes another account calling himself Jane Doe, and then goes back into the Fanorama and then pretends to be somebody else within the same group. And it's always interesting. I think, you know, correct me if I'm wrong, haven't we had situations where people that we know have 2 different accounts have a conversation with themselves in a thread?
Yes.
Oh
my gosh.
What the hell? How can you have a conversation with yourself?
Makes me shake my head. When I saw that, I was like, well, you have got to be kidding me. That is BS crazy.
It is. It's batshit crazy. That is the definition of batshit crazy.
Yes.
Just doing it to begin with. Yeah.
It was wild.
So how many people do you know who have done that?
Who have had the conversation with themselves? Well,
people who have an alternate account and taking on a different persona or whatever, and still in the Fanorama, along with their real selves, if that really is their real self.
Well, I think in that instance, I only know one person who tries to pretend that they're two different people. I know other people that have separate accounts, just like that they have their personal account and they have their Cars fan account. I know several people that have that, and it's not, they're not being crazy. They're just separating their life out. You know what I mean? Which is fine. I think I only know of one. I think that has two accounts and is putting forward two personalities or two. Yeah.
Well, I've got one that you don't know that I know about.
Oh.
Oh.
I'm a little perked up in my little chair here.
The reason why you don't know about it is because like 2 minutes ago, I finally figured it out. It just popped in my head. I had an epiphany. Are you ready for this one? I don't think you're ready for this, Donna.
Are you tricking me again?
Or should I say Dante? Donna, Dante. So that was your little thing to get some free swag, Donna? Is this how you're going to get back at me for your precious, precious Panorama LP cover thingy? You swindle me, pretending you are the prince of
darkness.
The prince of dark. And you go along with me while I bribe you, and then, okay. I thought it was funny I was sending that stuff to a PO box, but,
Oh, my gosh, that is...
So, is your last name what you say it is, or is it Tomaselli? What is it, Donna?
You caught me, Dave.
I know it.
My tangled web of, pretending that I'm a horror film maker when really I'm just not. I just wanted that T-shirt so bad.
You screwed yourself, Donna, because in that package that I got from, I'm doing air quotes now, from Dante today, there was all the horror related stuff in this package, yet there was also a package of Huckleberry Taffy. So you got to think ahead there.
Oh, darn it, I gave myself away. Probably the postmark from Idaho, too, was probably a big clue.
You think you're slick, but you're not slick enough to fool me, Dante Donna.
It's always those little Dante Donna.
Yeah. Miss Sunshine and Rainbows / Eternal Hell. Yeah, mixing it all up. See, I should have noticed that too. You just go the opposite of what Dante's into. You're doing Sunshine and Rainbows.
Got to separate myself from the truth as much as possible.
Yeah.
Can't have any overlap.
Yeah. So there you go, folks. There's my
goodness.
scoop. There is no Dante. It's really Donna.
Yeah, good one. I'll tell you, sometimes I wish I was Dante Tomaselli, living that life over there on the East Coast, doing his thing. He's doing what he loves, and that's the goal, let me tell you.
Yep. All right, so let's go to our next one. I don't know if you've had any. Oh, I'm sure you have had any experiences with this type of batshit crazy. I've had experience on Twitter for years, on my Night Spots accounts and on other accounts, and this is about I call them groupies, but they're not groupies in the sense of like the voodoo priestess groupie that we talked about before. But these are people who will message the shit out of you because they think that you have some kind of inside info, or you can hook them up with the band, or they've had some kind of experience, real or imagined, that they want to keep telling you about.
Okay.
So have you come across these people?
No.
I think you have.
Have I?
Yes.
Are you thinking of who I'm thinking of that I should be thinking about?
We talked about it before, where it's a little bit too much fandom. Too much fandom for you personally. Yeah, I think.
Too much fandom.
In other words, you've had some fans of your blog. I have heard you had a blog. Who maybe went a little bit too far in the social media of their praise of your blog and kind of did things that felt just kind of funny and weird. Like maybe they had your blog title tattooed on their forehead.
Oh.
You know what I'm talking about?
Well, yes.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Well, I think I kind of let that float off into the sunshine and rainbows there. I mean, it's sometimes it's strange to. I really appreciate everybody who reads my blog. I really do, and I love it. I love that people read what I write and they enjoy it and they converse with me about it and they share it, and I think that's really great. Sometimes, there have been a couple things. I do remember messaging you going, is this okay? Is this weird? Should I, I feel weird.
Is this funny to you?
I know, like, is this off? Because I feel like it's off, but I don't know if I'm just being, dramatic or what.
Is it weird that this person is using my picture as their profile picture? That's weird.
Yeah, there's been funny. There have been a few little weird things like that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean by these kind of people. And there's one person out there who I mean, man, she is out there. First of all, I think either she's very, 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 very sunshine and rainbowy, much more than you'll ever become, or she's whacked out on drugs. One of the two. But she is one that has told me about knowing some of the band members or whatever. But I had to originally block her on a different Twitter account because she would like start private messaging me and just keep going and going and going and going. And the point in time where I had to block her was, I kid you not, honest to gosh truth. She started PMing me at night before I went to bed, okay? And just telling me the same stories. I mean, and she had PM'd me stuff before, so this wasn't the first time I'd heard these stories about her and the band. And she's going on, and literally my phone's going bing, 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 for she's just continue to go.
Message after message.
Okay, I'm going to bed. I got up the next morning, and she was still PMing me.
No way.
Yes, taking a break in there, but she was still at it. So we're talking like, I don't sleep very long, like 5 hours or whatever. She was still messaging me. I had yet to even acknowledge that I had seen anything. And she was just like,
oh my goodness.
It's like she was all alone, felt like she needed to talk to somebody, and was just rolling it all out, man. Just rolling it all out. And I was like, okay, this is enough. I'm sorry, but I'm just going to have to block this lady. She just went on and on. Yeah. But
I haven't had anything that bad.
Imagine how the guys in the band are. I mean, because there are people out there that, I've known in the Fanorama who've been blocked, besides me, by band members and so forth, because, I guess they don't know their boundaries.
Right.
It's
right.
On one hand, it's absolutely wonderful that we live in an age where you can converse with people who are in the music industry or actors or, just anyone, if the time is right or whatever. But, some people, I think, feel that that's an opportunity for them to get personal, or like they think they're going to get a whole lot of time devoted to them and that kind of stuff. And,
well, here's the thing. This is okay. I think that it's really hard as fans. Well, it's not hard. It shouldn't be hard. But when you get into the BS crazy, it gets hard. That you feel like you know these people. For example, I listen to a podcast called Rock Solid, and I love it. And I am working my way through every episode from the beginning till now because they're hilarious, and I love it. And Pat Francis is the name of the host of Rock Solid. And so, I listen to this guy talk all the time, and it's such a great podcast that I feel like I want to chat back or I have comments or whatever. And I saw a guy in Costco that looked to me like Pat Francis, and part of me was like, hey! I didn't say anything to the guy in Costco, but I had that initial, few seconds of like, hey, that's my buddy Pat Francis. Okay, Donna, first of all, it's not Pat Francis. You're in Idaho, and he is not. He's in California. Number two, he's not your buddy. He's someone you listen to all the time, and no, you have nothing to say to him. Walk away.
Yeah.
You do get the sense that when you read about people, you listen to their music, they're on social media, you're reading their tweets, their Facebook posts, whatever. As a fan, you start to feel like you know that person. They, of course, have no clue who you are.
Exactly.
You're just following them. And so I understand that feeling, and there's a healthy understanding of that and a healthy place to be in that. And then you jump the line and you go BS crazy, and you think that then you're constantly, I imagine, one person in particular, I can imagine probably gets messages and emails and stuff all the time from fans going, hey, so-and-so, blah, 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 blah. Someone asked me a question, or I can't remember what it was. I was like, I'm wondering about this or wanting to find out. Oh, why don't you just ask so-and-so? Well, because he is not my friend,
Yeah.
Because that's over the boundary. Because I'm not BS crazy. That's why I don't mess so-and-so and ask them all my questions.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And, there's, in my world of Twitter, there have been, and I'm not going to try and count, and I'm not going to say names because, I don't want to appear that way, but there's been people with fame, people who are verified on Twitter who have followed me on different accounts that I've had. And that's a very flattering thing if they do follow you. But it's not a reason to go batshit crazy and go, oh my God, look, blah, blah, blah's following me, da, 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 da. It's not,
right.
I mean, they're people just like the rest of us, and they might be interested in what you have to, say or tweet or whatever. But the absolute wrong way to deal with it would be to, personal message this person for the wrong reasons.
Right.
For example, on my Star Wars Twitter, one of the stars followed me.
Harrison Ford.
Which was really...
Was it Harrison Ford?
Harrison Ford's not on Twitter, no.
Oh, dang.
That nailed it down for me. But it was one of those deals where, I saw it. I thought it was very cool, whatever. But I didn't bring it up to anyone because, one, I don't think you need to gloat.
Right.
Two, it could have been a mistake. No, it wasn't a mistake. But and then you just be cool about it. But everybody else was, tweeting or whatever. Do you see who's following you? Yeah. And I didn't even respond. Okay.
Yeah.
So I thought, okay, this person's following me. I don't want to, I think it's, really kind of cool. And, but the thing about it, people ask you, well, have you private messaged them or whatever? Because, on Twitter, unless you're following somebody, you can't get those, or at least at the time. I don't know if you can now. And it's like, no,
I don't think you can.
Why would I do that?
Right.
First of all, it's she may not even remember following, me or whatever, but,
right.
That's just something that you don't do. It's
right.
stepping over a boundary. Batshit crazy doesn't see that boundary.
Right, exactly.
And that's the reason why a lot of stars end up dropping off of Twitter or other social media, because you've got batshit crazy out there, people who are, stalkerish or people who are abusive or whatever. And why would they want to deal with that?
Right, right.
So.
Yeah. There's one famous person that's following me, and I did go on my own page, on my Facebook page, and went, hee, so-and-so followed me on Twitter, because I was really giddy about it.
And it was me,
that's
wasn't
all I
it?
did.
You're like, oh, Night Spots is following me.
Not hardly.
Mr. Steelwolf's following me.
No, I'm afraid it wasn't you.
Oh, crap. Well,
anyway.
That's fine, Dante.
Oh my goodness. Okay, what's
Imagine
next?
how surprised Dante's going to be when he finds out that you're him.
That I've been impersonating
This is going to blow
him.
his mind. And by the way, Dante, if you happen to use this whole Donna-Dante split personality thing that Donna's got going on for a movie, nah, you're not getting that idea free, pal. I expect 1%.
Oh my
or maybe
goodness.
0.5% if you're going to haggle me.
Or maybe we can just, give you a nod. How's that? Just a shout out to you on Facebook and call it good.
And well,
That'd be good, right?
Yeah, sure. It would. All right.
Oh, my goodness.
Donna, as when we talked about doing our batshit crazy episode, all of the rest that we've covered already, the power people,
yeah,
the groupies,
right?
It's just a warm up for our last category.
Is this a category where I get to tell my story in there? My stories? Okay.
It's just a warm up for this last category, and
this is a doozy.
I will tell you, even more than Dante's movies, this scares the living fuck out of me. Okay? This category scares the shit out of me. I'm telling you the honest truth, because you just never know, lady. You just never know. But you know what? I'm a person who has to call it as it is, and I've got to do this. I've got to do this.
Yes.
So our category is aptly titled Beniacs. I coined it myself. I have that copyright. Beniacs. So
okay.
in a general sense, I'd categorize anyone who's even remotely gaga over anything Benjamin Orr as a Beniac. Okay. It's okay. The thing is, it's like the Force. Okay, it's like Star Wars: The Force. You got your light side Beniacs, you got your dark side Beniacs. Okay.
Okay.
So you've got your little Yoda Beniacs.
Okay.
Like you. I would call you
I was going to say, that's me, right?
Little cute little Yoda Beniac. And then you have your menacing Darth Vader Beniacs. You know, they're more machine than man and twisted and evil.
Oh, man.
They are twisted and evil. So that's who we're talking about here, the dark side Beniacs. Okay, that fall into the category of bat shit crazy. Okay,
right.
So before I tell you before I let you tell your stories,
okay,
I put down in my notes, my show notes, some common themes or some common characteristics of dark side Beniacs. Right?
Okay.
So here you go. And I know this doesn't apply to all the dark side Beniacs, but I think it applies to a vast majority of them.
Are there shades of dark? Are there shades of dark side, or is it just dark side?
I don't think there's
a scale here?
I think there's probably some gray Beniacs, but I'm just talking about the dark side Beniacs.
Okay.
So
the darkest of the dark side.
The darkest of the dark.
Okay.
And so out of all the ones that I've seen, this is what they have in common. And we talked about this before.
Okay.
One, they're usually over 50 years of age. Okay. So they're my age. Usually married. They usually have, okay, how do I describe this? They usually have a husband, but he's kind of like, that Honey Boo Boo show? Was it Honey Boo Boo? Yeah, Honey Boo Boo and her dad, Sugar Bear,
Okay, I don't know that one.
A Sugar Bear vibe to him. Kind of like, I don't want, well, if you know Honey Boo Boo, so their husband usually has that kind of vibe to him, and usually is like clueless to their Benjamin fanaticism, it appears to me. Two, they throw out sexual innuendo like a 15-year-old boy. Okay, so that's the second one. I mean, it is out there, man. Out there. Let me put it to you this way. If I said 1/10 of the stuff that was said by Darkside Beniacs, I'd be fried. I'd be off Facebook.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
3, I think they're all conceal and carry certified, which is what scares the shit out of me.
They're all what?
Conceal carry certified.
Oh, conceal carry. Okay.
Yeah. They're not particularly well versed in digital arts. Okay. But that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that.
Right. Okay.
Me personally, I'd love to be in a picture with Benjamin, like fishing. So, let him create that for me. Ben fishing, put me on Ben's boat. Let me be like a bro with Ben and fishing. That's what I'm looking for.
Oh, my gosh.
5, God help you if you make any kind of joke about Benjamin Orr. As a matter of fact, probably just me talking this little bit of time, I'm already on a death list.
I'm surprised the phones aren't lighting up.
Yeah, I've gone too far already.
Yeah.
And then lastly, they have very active imaginations and kind of live in a world where they're self-proclaimed protectors of all things Benjamin. So,
wow, that's a pretty good list.
Yeah. So lay it on me, Donna. Give me your Darkside Beniac story that you have.
Well, I do. I have two, and I just feel like I have to share them, which is one of the reasons I was, pushing for this episode or was behind it, because we've mentioned once before about people who try to make other people believe in whatever this false story is or whatever false history is. And so when I started my Benjamin World around January, and in about April of that year, I got contacted by a gal who said something like, "Oh, I saw you liked, one of my comments. Did you know Benjamin?" And I responded, "No, I've never met him, whatever." And so I started this rather short but meaty conversation with this gal who claimed that she had met Benjamin in the early 90s, and how much detail can I tell? I can just tell the story, right, if I don't say their name?
I think I know who you're talking about, and I would give the details but still remain kind of vague. Then again, I think she's so batshit crazy she may not figure it out. No.
Well, the reason I'm tempted to make it easily identifiable is because I believe that she's fooling other people.
Oh yes. Yes.
And that's where I just go back and forth between just letting it be known, because I happen to be a very research-oriented person, and I'm based on facts. I mean, I'm all about the facts as much as possible. I mean, I'm not a robot, but I that's where I deal in, especially in this kind of stuff. But early on, I was totally gullible, and I was like, "Oh, you knew him? Oh, yes." And so her big story was that they fell in love. She met him at her job when he was there traveling, playing live or something, and they met and fell in love, and they spent an undetermined amount of time together. There's a lot of details that the people that invent stories, there's a pattern there too. They don't give a lot of verifiable details. They're very vague about, I don't share my pictures because, everybody just will gawk at them or steal them, and it's too private, it means too much, right? You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And so they don't ever produce anything that actually can back up what they're saying. And so she met him at her job, and they fell in love, and they were soulmates. And I'm trying to ask clarifying questions as she goes, but I'm not wanting to offend her because I'm thinking that she's kind of telling the truth. And and she just is feeding me a bunch of vague BS, and also just really poorly written, over-the-top romance garbage that is just like Oh, yes, soulmates, and just stupid. Oh, anyway. So
I feel the need for background music on this one. It's just, hold on, let me
I feel like I'm growing some steel wool here because I'm just getting so mad. It's like storm clouds are moving in.
Yeah.
No.
And they fell in love?
Oh,
so there
my
she
gosh.
was at her job. She was working the late
wiping
shift
down
at the
counters.
donut shop. Wiping counters. And in
oh my gosh.
Of the car.
And she just said ridiculous things like, okay, and also,
like
so her comments are like,
through my smock and saw my inner soul.
Okay, I always think you're really funny, but I'm in an emotional groove right now. I need to keep talking here. Sorry to cut you off. Are you mad? Are you mad?
Yowza.
Sorry.
You heard it live on the air, folks. Donna just made a turn. Go right ahead, Donna.
Sorry, Dave. I just get so worked up
because people are saying he's so insensitive that man, and he doesn't listen.
She just needs to get out right now, and he will not stop.
You just chew him up one side and down the other. Tell him to shut the fuck up.
Oh my God!
Right, go ahead, Donna.
Okay, so I read through, because of course I saved all of our conversations and stuff because that's how I am, and I was reading through all of my notes and stuff, and I just getting so grumpy about her just sickening falsehoods about, Benjamin played Pink Champagne for me over the stereo system at the resort where I worked, and really?
Wrong.
In 1993, he somehow was carrying around a copy of Pink Champagne with him? I don't think so. But even just
you can
so
make
stuff.
This shit up.
Oh my gosh, Dave! And even there's just the cheesy stuff that you can't verify or not verify, but you just know it's a lie. But then there's stuff like the biggest one for me was because she posted this all over YouTube in her comments. He wanted me to go away with him. We were soulmates, and it just wasn't in the cards because I was already married with 3 children. But I just had to say, I'm sorry, my Benny 11 letters. I can't go to Atlanta with you and live with you in Atlanta.
And what are her children's names?
Benjamin, Benji Benj. And Benny Jr. That's right. So just things like that, like
Ben.
So just things like that. Okay, Benjamin never lived in Atlanta, and he certainly didn't live there in 1993. There's no way he asked you to get on a plane and go live with him in Atlanta. Just things like that, where my research-oriented personality says, no, that didn't happen. And my research-oriented personality says, no, he was not stationed in Germany during the Vietnam War, as you claim, because I know that he wasn't. Because there are facts to say what you're saying is wrong. But at the time, I was just kind of scratching my head, like trying to figure it out because I wanted to believe that everybody was sincere and everybody told the truth. And no. So then she got all mad at me because she read my blog, and then she was like, you'll never know the real Benjamin. I'm ashamed of you. Because I, gushy on my blog and stuff. I was just like, what? So I totally remember emailing you about it, messaging you like, Dave, oh my gosh. And you were like, that's when I think the first time you ever said to me that someone was BS crazy was just like, you're like, Donna, open your eyes. It's like, oh yeah, I know this is a load. Okay, so almost a year later, I get an email from a different gal, and she, and I've been around the block a few times now in the Fanorama, right? This is February of this year. And she starts out all nice. Oh, I just wanted to let you know that, blah, 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 correcting some little nuance about Benjamin. And I said, oh, well, what makes you say that? Well, Benjamin and I were best friends since 1972. Really? And so I just not even pulling any punches now. Do you have anything to back that up? Any verifiable evidence that you can give me? Because, she's private messaging me. So I'm just like, prove it. And, she sends me a picture of she sent me 2 pictures. One is, and I know we're short on time, so she sends me a photograph by Philip Kamen that was in one of the Cars books of Benjamin celebrating a birthday. And on the cake it says something like Happy 18th birthday, but it's clearly Panorama Days, David Robinson's in the picture. And she sends me this trying to convince me that was taken at Benjamin's 18th birthday party, and that she, I just get so mad.
She had badly photoshopped Happy 18th birthday on the cake?
No, that's actually on the cake. That's actually in the photograph that's in the book. I mean, that's a real photograph. Obviously, some sort of joke, or who knows what.
Oh, yes, that's right. Okay,
so
gotcha.
The photo was true, but she's trying to tell me that this is from her.
Actually, a picture she took of Benjamin at his 18th birthday party.
Or something,
Isn't Dave Robinson in the picture too?
Yeah, exactly. And then she's like telling me, as if it were a secret, she's trying to tell me, he really loved picks, like guitar picks. In fact, if you'll notice, if you look at his mic stand, he's got picks all up and down it because he just was such a pick freak.
Oh,
no,
my gosh.
Every guitar player has picks up and down their mic stand because they're guitar players.
That woman is batshit crazy.
Oh, my gosh. Well, then
smokes.
So everything she's saying, I'm like, and then she sent me another picture that's from the Touch and Go when they're filming Touch and Go, and Benjamin is standing outside of somewhere in a parking lot at the place where they filmed that, and he's standing by his Corvette, and she sent me a picture saying something about, here's Ben outside the studio with one of his vets, and he loved my vet and my Corvette, and that she's got some sort of little story, and I was like, well, actually, that's not what that picture's from. And, I just had no patience with her. I was like, you're not telling me anything that's true. Huh?
You're just being so contradictory to this poor woman.
I just wasn't going to get taken in again. I was just like, I'm sunshine and rainbows, but don't try to pull the wool over my eyes. And I just was like, you know what, you're not giving me any facts. Oh, and then she tried to be like, well, you can, Benjamin's close friends can verify my story, and she listed like 3 people that are my friends on Facebook. And so I messaged them thinking I didn't know these guys knew Benjamin. I asked them, by any chance, were you, and they're like, no, we only know what she told us. And I'm like,
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so anyway, that to me is like, live in your crazy world, fantasize all you want, write novels about it, I don't care. But when you try to trick other people, because I still see the one in particular I still see around Facebook making her comments about, when my Benny 11 letters said this to me and that to me. Baloney, you are such a liar, and people believe you. I hate it.
Yeah, and that's the bad part of it. It
is.
And this also goes with the power people. If I go back to my guy, the power people, big salad guy, is that these people are so full of bullshit. And unfortunately, you have people who buy into their bullshit, and then they're afraid to say anything, or they're afraid to back you up, when you do call these people out. It's amazing to me. Just amazing. Yeah. The thing about Benjamin, and I really have to say this, and this goes for, I'm talking about the dark side Benniacs. These are the people that really, I think, have some issues with their fandom, is that he was a generous person. He was friendly. He very talented. Very, very talented. He had a good-looking guy. Okay? As a guy, I can say Benjamin Orr is a good-looking guy, right?
Yeah.
But he was human. He had fears.
Right.
He had issues. He had disappointments. He had wants and needs just like the rest of us. As my wife likes to say, he sits on the pot just like the rest of us, or sat on the pot just like the rest of us.
Exactly.
The thing that needs to be made clear to the dark side Benniacs is, 1, he's not your soulmate. He's not your spirit guide, and he sure the fuck isn't your guardian angel. He's not. Okay? He's not sending you messages from beyond. It's not happening. Because those kinds of things, and I truly believe this, those kinds of things are reserved for his family and his friends. Okay? I don't have any doubt that any of my, relatives that have passed on, my wife that has passed on, could possibly be my guardian angel or a spirit guide or whatever. But sure as shit, Donna, Benjamin Orr, wherever he is, isn't going, hey, so-and-so from, Fort Wayne, Indiana, who's one of my biggest fans, they need me. And he's going to go down there and get, sorry, not happening. It's not happening. It's in your mind. Get over it.
Yeah.
The other point of that is that, taking things that are personal with his family. I know this has come up many times in the Fanorama where people are like, you're kind of overstepping your boundaries into an area that his family should only have. And use of nicknames when referring to him, it just makes me want to gag. That's not for us as fans to do. It doesn't make you any more of a fan to refer to Benjamin Orr as Benny or Benny 11 letters or whatever. Right. It doesn't.
Right.
You're just trying to make your candle burn brighter.
Right.
And the biggest thing I think is that, and I know people have made this point before, is that sometimes, and I think I've learned this, that being so shallow when it comes to him, he was more than just a piece of meat. He's more than eye candy. Very talented. And, people get irritated with that because, if you've got, a discussion or whatever, and you're talking about a video and a song, and maybe he sings the hell out of it, but people are making comments like, ooh, would you look at the package? Ooh, look at that butt. And, okay, we're not here to talk about his package or his butt. You can think all you want. It doesn't mean you should say it, Right,
right.
And that's why people get irritated with it. Like I said, I can appreciate that Benjamin was a good-looking man. I can appreciate that Benjamin is a sexy, good-looking man. Right. What I don't appreciate is somebody who thinks that's all there is to him. And he deserves a little bit more respect, I guess, when talking about things of his talent and things of that nature. And I know a lot of people feel that way,
Yeah. Yeah.
Dark side Benny will just tell me, you're just jealous, Dave. You're just jealous of Benjamin. You're just jealous of our Benny. You're just jealous of our Benny. That's all. And you're just insensitive and you don't get it. Yeah. Well, call it as you see it. You're batshit crazy. That's all I'm going to say. So.
Well, and I do think, I'm going to soften that edge just a little bit by saying a couple things. One is that I do know that there are people who have been fans of his since the Grasshoppers days, and when they first knew of him, he was called Benny, and that's fine. I don't have any problem with that. You know what I mean? People call him how they know him. That's great. I did want to just soften that one a little bit.
I can soften that. Do you have proof that they were?
Yes.
Are they the right age?
Yes. And photograph.
Okay.
Yeah. I got no problems with that.
That one.
Yes, there are people. Yes, there are some who I know of that refer to him as Benny that have a right. That's how their first interactions with him, or not interactions, but meeting him and whatever. That's what he was called when they knew him. However, whatever that means, knew him. He was Benny, and that's what they called him.
Yeah.
So I don't have any problem with that. It's like my husband's got friends that still call him Kenny because they met him in elementary school, and he was Kenny in elementary school, and so they still call him Kenny. And he hates it, but that's how they know him. He's Kenny.
You've got friends that call you Dante because that's your real name, isn't it?
Okay, anyway, the other thing I was going to say about Benjamin Beniacs is that to a certain extent, I mean, if you're going to be BS crazy about him, just, do it in your own place. I mean, there's a sense of, someone else's groups on Facebook, you should keep your comments in the boundaries of what that group expects and wants on their page. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you want to do something different, and that was kind of how I started my blog too, was because I wanted to say more than I felt like I could say in a Facebook forum. I wanted to just be able to say whatever I wanted to say, and so I started out doing that. It's pretty gushy there at the beginning. And I mean, I still feel gushy, but I just don't express it as much, I don't think, And you certainly just have to be aware of your audience. I mean, I guess that would be the key, is be aware of your audience if you're going to
that situation,
say those things.
Though, it went from one extreme to another because, you had some of the power people, or I'll say the dark side Beniacs there, who felt that it was their job to protect Benjamin. So in these certain pages, somebody might say something like, "Oh, would you look at those dreamy eyes?" in something. And then that dark side power Beniac person would say, "You people are blah, 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 and da-da-da-da, and how dare you say that, and da-da-da, and da-da-da."
Right.
So that made people shift over to a page where those people weren't around, but then it went the opposite extreme. It's like that's all they talked about, and a lot of it was pretty blue, if you really think about it. It's like, holy crap.
Blue, like what do you mean blue?
Blue as in, when they're talking
raunchy?
Blue, raunchy, yeah. And so I just went to the other extreme, which, it can't. I mean, I think people can say, oh gosh, what a babe Benjamin was,
Right.
I think even in there I put in stuff like Elizabeth Shue, hubba hubba,
Right.
But I wasn't talking about, Elizabeth Shue's private parts. I wasn't talking about, what I want to do to Elizabeth Shue.
Right.
All those kind of stuff. It's okay to think that stuff in your head. We all have fantasies.
Right.
I have my Elizabeth Shue fantasies. There you go. But I'm not going to tell people.
Wow. Let's not go there.
I really don't have Elizabeth Shue fantasies. But now that I think of it.
Okay, Dave. I know. Whatever you say, Dave.
But, I mean, it is what it is. It's okay to think things. We're human. But you need to have a filter. I think a lot of that comes down to. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So
some crazies out there.
How long do you think it'll be before dark side Beniacs show up out in front of my house with torches?
They're on their way, I have a feeling.
Kill him! Kill him!
There's a caravan of Darth Vader lookalikes coming your way.
They are. They're coming to get me.
They are.
I haven't been attacked by any means, except the only time was just that one time that was funny. I'm sorry, it was funny. The person who wanted a picture of Ben with blonde hair wanted his hair to be brunette. And so I did like the Photoshop troll thing and just put a wig on Benjamin, and it was a lady's wig, and it was like curled. It was hilarious, okay? And man, I didn't have that sucker on there like 30 seconds, and people were going ape shit.
You just got lambasted.
It's a joke.
I missed all of it. I was at camp and I didn't see it in real time.
Yeah.
I've heard a few things about it in hindsight.
Yeah.
But people have messaged me about it, and I just have to say, I have no clue. I wasn't there. Yeah, you caused quite a rumble.
It was. I mean, and I was. It was. It's funny. I'm sorry. It's funny. That was just a very funny thing. But man, that makes my point of you cannot, make any kind of joke. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, Donna, how about we get off the Benjamin and let's go to the Midnight Scroll.
Ooh, do we have something for the Midnight Scroll?
We have something for the Midnight Scroll.
I'm so excited. Let's do it.
All right, Midnight Scroll. All right.
I always have to dance around when you play that. I love it. That's such a great song.
All right, here we go. Our Midnight Scroll. Dear Dave and Donna, first off, okay, I got to do this in a voice. First off, Dave, you are an insensitive man who doesn't listen.
Nuh-uh.
Not like my Benjamin, my Benny, my Ben. He was a listener. How do I know? I talk to him every day. This might sound crazy, but my son, little Benjamin, is the reincarnation of Benjamin Orr.
Oh, my God.
It wasn't hard to figure this out when he was a baby. His first words were, pork pie. He loves orange skies, too. Sincerely, Candy O'Donnell. Wow, thank you, Candy. First word.
Oh, my gosh. Oh,
pork
my gosh.
Pie.
Pork pie.
Don't I
my
tell
little
you
Benji
people,
Benj.
if you're not going to write in, I'm just going to make shit up. That's all there is to it. It's a good thing we had Kurt call.
Oh, yeah.
I had to make him call, too.
You had to make him. It's so funny. That reminds me of the Rick Fandango phony letter. Oh, my gosh. I still just laugh so hard over that.
The thing about it is, I mean, seriously, me just making a joke about somebody thinking Benjamin, their son is the reincarnation of Benjamin Orr. Yes. Oh, my God. You would have thought that I, God knows what. To somebody, they are probably throwing up right now that I would make a joke about that. That's what blows my mind. It blows my mind, Donna.
I know. People get pretty serious.
And the thing about it is I have to wonder what's missing in these people's lives that make them dream up this shit and fake pictures and to try to lure people in. I mean, really, when you think about it, it's really sad.
Yeah.
I'm totally serious on this. I mean, it's very, very sad. We can say batshit crazy, but what it really is it's sad.
Yeah.
I do. I mean, I make fun of these people, and you have to, or you'll cry. Because
right.
It's so crazy. It's so crazy. And
yeah,
I think probably the most important point. Sorry about that. My bottle fell over. The most important point I know that I wanted to make on this podcast with people who are power people and people who are gullible and people making up stories and this and that or whatever is that it's fandom. Any fandom isn't that important.
Right.
The Cars aren't my life. Star Wars isn't my life. Your family is your life. Your friends are your life. Those people who are real that you can touch. And, when I'm done with this podcast, I'm leaving this bedroom with its sunshine and rainbows, and I'm going down to my wife and right. spending time with her. That's life. And if I posted this before on Twitter that if the thought of not being on social media or not being a part of the fandom or not being in the know of things upsets you or scares you, bothers you, whatever, you're in too deep. You're in too deep. And I will be the first one to say, on this podcast, when it comes to Facebook pages, to my car's Twitter, to this podcast, it's not the most important thing in my life, and I could drop it like that, okay?
Yeah.
Because it's not, and you have to be that way. Because if you're not, something's not right. something is not right. So
yeah,
I'll just leave it at that.
Well, and you've given me that advice before, because I get pretty emotionally attached to stuff, and I get my feelings hurt over things. And through the year and a half of our friendship, there have been people that have, just like my story I was telling earlier, and some of the power people that you're talking about that are on my list, my ugly list, that have done and said things that have hurt me, and then I've come to you, how do I deal with this? And you've reminded me of that a lot. It's not that big of a deal. If you can't walk away, there's something wrong. It's like, I just need to put this in the right perspective.
Yeah.
That, I get caught up in how much I love the band and how much I love Benjamin and the blog and the podcast and all those things, but I can't, I just have to, just like you said, you just have to remember, this is not the most important thing. This is not what life is about.
No.
It's just a hobby. It's just,
And remember, the beginning of the podcast, I said, I'm not so sure that I can include myself in batshit crazy. And that's because, I have to call people out that are spewing bullshit,
right.
no matter what kind of person they are. But the other thing is, you have to laugh about it. I mean, you have to laugh about things. You have to make jokes about things. And, when people, are throwing batshit crazy at me, or their power trips or whatever, I do what I do because
you get worked
I
up sometimes.
I can't let it lie, and with things like that. So, it's just music, which we love music, but we don't necessarily need memorabilia. We don't need information. We don't need social media to enjoy the cars. We just need their music.
That's right.
So that'd be that.
Very nice.
All right. So Donna,
David,
as we end, where can listeners find you besides in the horror genre, music, and directing movies?
Well, you can find the real me at Sweet Purple June on Twitter. I also have a Facebook page called Benjamin Orr Sweet Purple June, and I have a blog called Sweet Purple June.
Did you leave something out of that?
No, sweetpurplejune.wordpress.com. I didn't want to give you a chance to do your little Beavis and Butthead giggle if I said the word colon. Exactly.
Colon. Yeah.
Where can we find you, Davey?
Well, I don't know if I want to let people know where they can find me
I know.
after this podcast, because holy crap. Of course, at Night_spots on Twitter. You can find both me and Donna on the car's FANORAMA page. And as I said, I will post a link for that podcast T-shirts and other things.
Oh yeah.
On the FANORAMA page. So look for that. And it's more than just shirts. I think if you're into it, you can get a sticker or a mug or with designs on. It's just how it is. But I just took some of my favorite designs that I thought people liked and put them on there too, instead of just having the podcast T-shirt. And I just want to flee on your catorama. Was that what you wrote on that one? I just want to flee on your catorama.
That's worth checking out the website for nothing else but to see that.
Okay. So our outro music tonight, Donna, as we say goodbye, I am dedicating to all those colorful, imaginative, lovable, batshit crazy people.
Yeah.
So we're going out in style. Okay?
Sounds
so
good.
As the shepherd said, Donna.
Let's get the flock out of here.
That is correct. Let's get the flock out of here.
All right.